Hello, welcome to Steve McDonald's Crafting, and today what I'm going to be doing is seeing if I can make some small plant pot molds using this cement. Now, I made a larger one and that worked out really well, and these ones I've used for resin and they came out really well. Check that out on my other channel. Now, it does cure really hard, which is great. It's ever so easy to mix up. I add the plaster and then I add enough water to turn it into like a thick whipped cream, I suppose. I'll show you what I mean. Oh, that's far too thick. Now you get about a 10-15 minute work time with this if you use cold water to mix it with, and it usually is fully set within about 2 hours. When I first used this, I thought it was just like plaster of Paris, but it isn't. It is a lot harder than plaster of Paris. I will link this in the description below. So that's about the thickness that I want it to be. And then once we've done these, I want to paint them and fill them with some succulents, and I'm going to give them away, hopefully, as additional little gifts at Christmas. You do need to carefully put this into these molds because these molds are quite small and they are quite light, and you want to make sure that you get it all the way down the bottom. And I love being able to use molds for more than one thing in my crafting, so not just for resin. I will leave that like that for a few seconds, and then I will do a bit of squidgy widgying to ensure that I've got no trapped bubbles around it, and then top it up. They're all filled up now, so what we'll do is we'll leave these to go hard. It shouldn't take very long. These have all cured up now, and one of them I've already demolded because I got a little bit carried away. I was like a kid at Christmas. I couldn't wait, so I'll show you that one in a second. And they come out really easily, just as easily as the resin ones came out, to be honest. There was no problems with them whatsoever. Oh look, I did have a couple of bubbles on that one. That is what happens when you don't get rid of all your bubbles properly, look. Now, I could fill that, but I'm not that precious. I'm quite happy with those bubbles to be on there. Before I paint these up, what I'm going to do first is drill a little hole through the centre as a little drainage hole in a couple of them. Just using my drill with a little drill bit to drill through there, holding it on there like that. And it just goes through there simply. I don't need massive drainage holes in these ones. It's not going to hold a massive amount of soil, and also not a massive amount of water. Now, to seal them, all I'm going to be using is quite a weak solution of PVA glue or white glue. So I'm going to put some in there like that, about that amount, and then the same amount in there of water. That way it's not going to dry really quickly on them as I paint it on, and it's going to soak in them rather than sit on the outside. I've got a soft brush here, and this washes out your brushes really easily, so it's not going to cause a problem. And then all I'm doing is going over these with the soft brush, including the base as well. So making sure it's get a good covering, and then once it's had one covering, I will go over it a second time once it's dry to ensure that it's well covered and well sealed. And I think this will just make it a lot easier for me to paint on them and for them to be water resistant as well. Well, now these are all dried up and they're all nice and sealed. You could leave them like that and have them just as the white, or you can paint them. I'm going to be using some of these hammer effect paints, but I'm also going to be using some of these Arteza paints, these iridescent ones, because you know me, I like my stuff to be quite bright and glittery. I will list everything in the description, and then I'm going to do a couple in the Arteza paints. These paints are oil based, so they're not water based, so you can't wash your brush out in water. You need to use some white spirit or some paint cleaner. I'm going to do the whole of the outside and on the inside as well. But what I remember from using these paints in the past is you do need to put on quite a nice layer. Don't be too thin with it. And it probably will, if you want it to be really, really covered, it probably will need 2 coats. It's not going to suck into the plaster because we've already sealed that. Well, these have all dried now, and I've got these two. The others are finished, and I'll show you those in a second. I've cut some stickers out of flowers from my Cricut, but if you don't have a Cricut, you can get these types of stickers online really, really cheap. And I've done them as little silhouettes because I really quite like them, and I think it doesn't detract away from the actual pot itself. And they go on there fairly simply, like that. And pulling them off. And this is a permanent vinyl. I love how this hammered ones come out. I'm going to go round just popping these stickers on. And I've not done all the same sort on each pot. What I've done is I've done random ones on each pot. I like the look of the random ones. And just putting them on is really, really quite easily. And I've done 4 on each one, but I've decided I'm going to do 1 on each one of the facets on this one. And these are the ones that I've completed. And I think they look really well. That's the red planishly look. Now, I didn't give this as many coats because I quite liked the look of the white coming through it. I just thought it looked really good. Well, these are all planted up now, and I'm really pleased with how they've come out. I think they're such cute little pots, and they really do give just any little plant a great finish. And we grew these. We grow all these succulents and bits and pieces just from leaf cuttings. Same with the spider plants. We grow those. We're just taking little root cuttings off them. And these Christmassy cactuses that are all coming out in flower. We've got about 30 or 40 of them at the moment, and they're all coming out in flower because we just haven't, with COVID, had a chance to give them away, but we will. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little project. Nice and simple, quick little project, but to make some great gifts or to have around your house. Don't forget, please boop that like button. It really does help me get my videos out there. I'm trying to grow this channel. I'd like to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of March next year, and that would be fabulous. I'd be so pleased. So please hit that subscribe button, and if you'd like to buy me a coffee just to say thank you for any of my videos, then the link for those in the description below, along with the link for everything else I've used. Enjoy your crafting. Bye.